Okay, what I'm working on here is a 2004 Explorer Sport Track XLT. He has a problem with the blower motor. Only had third and four speed. It didn't have the first and second. In that case, the blower motor resistor was my suspected part broken. Some videos call for the Explorers to have it here underneath the dashboard. This particular model here, though, in case you have one, is down here. It's right down below, little pipe right there. Now I have everything loose right now. Put it back together just loosely, just so I could show you what you need to do in order to get to this part, because there is really not very much room in there. One of the first things I did was remove the air cleaner cover, just to give me a little bit more room. Second, this 10mm bolt right here, this one here, holds this unit on. So we've taken that out. And it comes apart. I don't know if you can see this. Just comes out, lift up just a little bit. Give it a little twist, comes right out. Puts this to the side. This is all the parts you actually have here. Again, it's a 10mm bolt. You have on your tank here, you have a 10mm bolt here, right down here. You have another one over here. Down below there's a 11mm down underneath right by the air cleaner. It's kind of hard to get to. And there's another 11mm right here. What we did was disconnect this plug here off the tank. Took out the 4 bolts. And we moved the tank out of the way. On the blower motor itself, there were 4 8mm screws that hold the blower motor in. First we disconnect the plug on the blower motor. And the top 2 were easy to get to. Third one is down here. Fourth one is under here. You get the 2 screws out. Disconnect the breather hose. One-handedly I should be able to get this out of here. One-handedly I can't. I have to put this down for a second. Now with the blower motor out, you're able to look down inside and you can actually see the evaporator. I just lost my light. Be able to see the evaporator right in there. And right below the evaporator you see the plug. That's for the blower motor resistor. There were 2 8mm screws on either side of it, on, if you will, the 9 and the 3 o'clock. And we were able to take the blower motor resistor out. Again, I have everything loose. I just put it back together loosely just to show the process of taking it out to save time. Now once you have the blower motor resistor in your hand, I'm going to try this here. Bear with me, first time videos are always a pain. What I found with this is once we got it disconnected, sometimes you spray a little bit of WD-40 down inside the backside, or the silicone spray that WD-40 makes, and it makes this come out a little bit easier because it has been in there for a while. Bad design, I think, the way Ford did this, because this plug is really open to the back side here is open to the environment from everything down below. You know, use the proper tool, you'll be fine. Now, the one thing I was not planning on, and like I said, it's a bad design. You know, it just came out pretty easy. It doesn't want to come out now. Here it comes. Is when we took this apart, what we had inside here, and you can see there were no tabs. Supposed to be 4 tabs. They corroded out. The water came inside through the back part of the plug here and corroded all the plugs, all the pins. Also, there was some deformity in the plug itself from heating. They do get hot when they're on. There's a lot of resistance going through these wires. You can see here. So this plug is really no good. It won't accept the new blower motor resistor that I have, and you can see that the pins are gone. Outside of the fact that you replaced the whole harness, which nobody wants to do, the option is to cut this plug out completely, separate the wires, keep track of where the wires go, not necessarily taking them completely out of the old plug, taking the blower motor resistor and actually making a new plug. What I did there is I just took a certain length of wire. I just made a mark on the edge of my table here so that I've kept everything the same length. We put the quick connect, well actually we put the shrink tubing on top of the wire, connect that to the definitely need 2 hands. Put that on, heat this up with a heat gun, and then slide this over, because right now I can't do it because it's the 2 of them are the same size. Anyways, slide it over and heat it up again. I used 4 different color wires. The main power wire itself is actually a 12 gauge wire as it is on the car, and the other 3 wires are 14 gauge wire. Stuck them in the appropriate holes looking at the old plug, and took some silicone and just filled the plug in to weatherize it and to keep the wires in place. All I have to do now is cut the plug off in the car and match each one of these wires up Again, putting a larger sleeve of shrink tubing. Particular shrink tube that I'm using here is a 1018 wire, and cutting it to the length I need. And we'll just we'll use a butt connector like this that's weather tight because it's got heat shrink on either end of it. And after I've done that, I'll have a longer piece of wire that'll heat shrink, that'll go over the whole unit, coming maybe 1/4 inch on either side of the connectors, till all four of them are made. Then I'll just take some electrical tape and tape the whole unit up, and that should be a quick fix for your problem. If you're having a problem with your blower motor and the plug got all corroded. So I hope this helps anybody. Bye-bye. Okay, so I've gotten the first part done. I clipped the wire on the back of the plug, leaving just enough so I can see what colors went where. I already checked that out and put the appropriate colors that I wanted in the back part of this plug in the exact same order. So what I'm replacing is this orange wire, which is the main wire, main feed wire, with a red wire. Had a yellow with a red stripe, which is going to be yellow. Black is now going to be blue. Green with a white stripe is just going to be green. Most of this will just be either just tied up. I don't think we'll have to get into it again. It'll be pretty easy. So now all I have to do is have the butt connectors all nice and tight. All I have to do is just shrink them up with the heat gun. Now I'll let that cool down for a couple of minutes, and I've already slipped on the extra heat shrink sleeves. That all I have to do is just slide them down, slide them over each one, and heat shrink these on, and I'll have a watertight connection. Just one last thing. When you're installing the resistor, this is the old one I have in my hand, of course, you want to install it this direction into the body. It won't install upside down because of these notches right here. It won't line up with the hole. There's a couple of little tabs right here that won't line up with the hole. So when you're installing the new one, you have to make sure that you have it in this position and work your wires down there, and you'll be in business.